So a few days ago, I made a video about all about my ankle surgery and recovery from that and so forth. So that cast that I had on the video, which was my surgical cast, is now off, and now I'm in this this short leg walking cast, and I will be in this for just under 3 more weeks. Well, I basically start walking again, and right now I'm not bearing full weight on my left leg. I'm still on crutches, and you know, there are times when I'll go ahead and stick the camera down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But most of the time, I'm just kind of gingerly kind of putting weight gradually onto my foot, just getting back into the practice of actually walking again. When you are completely non-weight bearing, as I was for 6 weeks, and actually that's about the same period of time that most people are in a cast on crutches if they've got a broken bone. You know, if you broke your leg, you broke your ankle, it's about 6 weeks, maybe sometimes longer if it's, longer if it's a really bad break. But for most like simple closed fractures, not like a compound fracture or something like that, about 6 weeks in a cast and on crutches is pretty typical. So that's what happened with me after surgery, and that's what my surgeon told me what would happen. So now I'm into this walking cast, which is very comfortable and feels really good. And so this will be good for me as once I start actually putting full weight onto my leg and onto my foot again, and just get my gait back. I have not taken any walks or anything like that yet, but I'm going to be starting to do them. And here's the thing about being in a cast and on crutches when you're not weight bearing. It's difficult. It's difficult to do anything. Even if you've got help around the house or something like that, everything is a challenge. Taking a shower, and getting food for yourself, and but basically, your hands are occupied. You're on the crutches, and you cannot. Basically, you're stuck on crutches, and your hands are not going to be free. Of course, there are things like the scooters and whatnot, but you can't use the scooter for everything, unless maybe you've got one of those kinds of houses or whatever that allows for something like that. But if you are non-weight bearing, there's pretty much no substitute or no kind of easy way around it. So I'll just show you briefly, what happens in this sort of scenario when you're starting to put weight back onto both legs again. And I should add, my right leg and my right foot right now are actually not pain-free, because for the last 6 weeks they've been picking up all the slack that this leg, which was totally useless, the right leg was picking up all the slack. So I'll just kind of show you how I'm moving around. And I'm sorry, please pardon the mess of my place, but I've gotten all these shipments of different things. They get delivered to me every day, and I have not had time to organize them or anything like that. So, okay. So basically, it just kind of starts off like this sort of thing. And this is about the same sort of thing like if you have an injury to your ankle or leg or whatever, like if you sprain your ankle or whatever, it's the same sort of thing. You just get back to walking again. And you're not bearing full weight on your casted leg and foot. You're just simply gradually getting into the practice of walking again. And then once it gets kind of to be a bit painful, if it starts getting painful, then of course you just take the weight off of it and go back to doing something like this. So it's really pretty simple. Okay. So that's basically it. Okay, so now we're back to this again. It's a really kind of funny thing. I personally don't see a lot of casts out there anymore. Most people wear boots nowadays. Even after surgery, this particular surgery that I had, I'm just kind of reading online about what other people are doing. They're not they'll be in a fiberglass cast like this after the surgery, but once that cast comes off, they don't go to another cast. They go into a walking boot, the ski boot type thing with the straps and stuff. Those can actually kind of be detrimental in some cases. I know not all orthopedic doctors recommend them. I know my personal orthopedic doctor does not like to use them for most things, especially this, after a surgery. So it depends on who your doctor is, but a lot of doctors just like to slap on boots these days. If somebody sprains their ankle and they go into their clinic and they get x-rays and stuff, okay, you just had a sprain, then they'll put them in a boot. They're not going to put a cast on usually for a sprain, but they'll just stick them in a boot. So it's fine, if you have a sprain or whatever, but post-surgically, I don't think it's the best thing. You've got to have the non-weight bearing period where you're in the surgical cast or a cast, and then it would seem like the rational sort of thing would be to go to another cast like this instead of to a walking boot, because at the same time your ankle is still recovering. And if you have on the boot, there's always a tendency just to take it off. Take it off when you sleep, take it off when you shower or whatever, and then you kind of start to mess up what was repaired surgically. So that doesn't really make sense, does it? So anyway, so much for my modest little video here, but that kind of gives you some idea of like the 6 week point from ankle surgery. So I basically got 6 more weeks left. Just under 3 weeks of wearing this cast, and then I kind of start the process of like self-rehabilitation and getting back out there and just of course not unaided, still wearing an ankle brace to support the ankle, but then there's like that other period of like another 3 or 4 weeks when you just really kind of get back to normal. So anyway, thank you.